This will be the St. Louis Workforce Development Full Board Meeting held on June 29th, 2023. It is 2:23 p.m. Next, we'll have roll call.
Thank you. This is Sal Valadez, Secretary for the Board. Catherine Jocelyn, not here. Lydia.
Here.
Corey Elliott.
Present.
Lakeisha Mathis.
Here.
Stacy Fowler. Jerry Bowles. William Bell.
Here.
Julie Fickus. Myself, I am here, I think. Sherry Tillis. Kimberly Chaplin. Mary Lammy. Tamber Cross.
Present.
Crystal Heron.
Here.
Justin Bennett.
Present.
Michael Newton.
Present.
Paul Smith. Kendra Holmes. Regina Greer. Danita Neal.
Present.
Michelle Graham. Roger Spearman.
Here.
Justin Raimundo. Luce Haberberger. And Susan Agan. Okay.
Susan is here.
Who's here?
Susan is here. Susan?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't find it.
It's okay.
Present.
Thank you. Just double check. Is Catherine Jocelyn here or not here? Not here. Okay, so. Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 13 members present. Thank you.
Thanks, Sal, for the roll call. I appreciate that. So we'll get right into the agenda. So next we have the approval of minutes. And I would need to have a motion for the approval of the minutes from May 23rd, 2023. Can I get a motion?
Mike Newton, motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
Second.
Second. Tambra.
Let's vote. All in favor of the minutes being approved from 2023, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes will stand approved from 2020, May 23rd, 2023. Thank you. The next on the agenda is the executive board summary. So I'll turn this over to Ms. Frederica.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying thank you to every single one of you for your flexibility. Usually the way we try to do this is that we allow the WISP committee and the finance committee to meet prior to the executive committee to approve the items or do recommendations of the items before they come before the full board. We had this all planned out, ready to roll out the meetings and getting everything squared away. However, the Department of Labor reached out to us and wanted to do on-site monitoring for our youth bill program. And we were so shocked because everything happened so fast. And so we were like, what in the world is going on? So we had to provide all these documents and get prepared for the monitoring, which is now happening during this current week. Jerry has joined us, Sal and Svetlana, she is on the call as well. So I want to make sure she's accounted for, Jerry Bowles. And so we were like, what in the world is happening? And so 2 days later, after we had submitted all documentation for DOL to come in, we received an email stating that we were awarded $1.5 million for our next cycle of the youth bill grant. So we had to pivot. And that's okay. But I just thank you guys so much for your ability to be flexible and helping us get these done. Our last board meeting of the year is always the toughest because there's so many items that have to be approved and get to the state by the June 30th deadline. And so that's why we're having this meeting today. So I'm going to quickly go through the items that are on your consent agenda. Again, if you all choose to, once Ms. Danita gets to that piece, you guys can choose to accept all of the consent agenda items because they are all for information purposes only. If there's something that you want to pull out of there that you want to spend some time on, that is an option as well. But I kind of want to breeze through these to let you know what you are hearing about today and what you are voting on today. And so this morning, number one, the summary of committee meetings. The executive committee came together to approve the agenda to be presented before you today for your meeting. So that is number one on the consent agenda. Number two, you received a late document from Armanino LLP. Armanino is our fiscal monitoring agent. And so they are responsible for fiscal monitoring for our subrecipient, and our subrecipient is EDSI. And so you should have received two exhibits for that. One for their fiscal monitoring reporting for WIOA, and that's WIOA Adult, Dislocated Worker, Youth, and Youth Build, and then their monitoring report for the discretionary grants. In that, you were able to see that there were no findings or no areas of concern. So kudos and congratulations to EDSI, as there were no fiscal findings or no fiscal areas of concern after Armanino completed their fiscal monitoring. Down to number three, WIOA Adult ITA Training Funds and WIOA Youth WEX Funds. We've talked about this a little bit before. There has been a huge influx in the job center for young people wanting to do work experiences, which are paid internship opportunities that we have. And then also there's a huge influx of people coming into the center seeking out training, and that's great. In our original allocation, we didn't have enough funds, so I was able to go to the amazing Julie Carter of OWD. She's the interim director, and asked for additional funds. We were awarded $100,000 for youth work experience and $210,000 for adult ITA training. And so that's just before you today for information purposes. I know a few of you have reached out to me to say, Freddie, people are wanting to know about training and if you guys have funds. So yes, we have funds again. So if you know individuals who want to go through training or young people who want to do work experience, we have more money. So more money is good. Moving down to the PMR, the Programmatic Monitoring Report. This report was put together by the state. This is our end of the year report to just basically tell where we are. We had one finding. If you guys were on the board previously, in previous years, we had 7 findings. So to go from 7 findings to 1 finding is a really good thing. And so right now that finding is in our youth department. And so it's for performance. It has been a little difficult helping our young people obtain credentials and measurable skills gains. But when you have amazing people like Tambra on board with St. Louis Public Schools AEL and the amazing teachers of Mr. Outlaw and Kimberly over at Youth Build that are working towards our young people getting those credentials, this will help us and this will improve. And so what we had to do was submit a corrective action plan to the state about how we will address this. And we submitted this, I think, about 2 weeks ago as to how we will address this moving forward. So if you get some time, if you have not looked at it, please look at where we are and where we hope to be. But that is the only finding that we have in our programmatic monitoring for this year. Our one-stop operator monitoring report. So our local workforce development board compliance team does a report on the one-stop operator to basically talk about promising practices, areas of concern, any findings or anything of that nature. There were no findings. There were 5 promising practices, which are mentioned here. The engagement of the required core partners. There are consistent meetings between our one-stop operator and our core partners. A lot of you all are our core partners. When you talk about Sherry Tillis over at Father Support, Tambra is a core partner, PCAC is a core partner. And so Rebecca has constant communication with our core partners when we talk about cross referrals and things of that nature. And getting people the services that they need. So those are listed there, 5 promising practices. There were some areas of concern. However, I must say that these do not solely fall on our one-stop operator. It is a collaborative effort between everybody that's in the center to improve our customer intake flow processes, to develop evaluation criteria for the effectiveness of the services that we provide, And then engagement of priority groups. In that report, you'll see a lot of what we've done this year, working with the International Institute, and working with other organizations to ensure that we are diverse in the services that we provide. And so we have created a plan of action to be able to address that. Also, our subrecipient EDSI has created a plan of action that you will see at the end of this, to figure out how we can diversify our services and the clients that we serve. And so that does not fall solely on the one-stop operator. That is a collaborative effort here in the Job Center. But those were three areas of concern that we know that we have, that we know we need to work towards improving. Equal Opportunity Report. Again, our local Workforce Development Board compliance team does an Equal Opportunity Monitoring Report. There were three areas identified that the agency has improved on, one of those being affirmative outreach, the next being access for limited English proficiency customers, and access for customers with disabilities. So again, diversifying our services and make sure that we are meeting the needs of everyone that comes into our job center. So there will always be constant room for improvement in those areas, but to see that we have begun to take those steps to continuously improve has been amazing. One of the things that we are doing pretty soon is we have a partnership with Accommodations for Success. And so we are doing a job fair. Each region, each year, St. Louis County, us, Madison County, Jeff Frank, and I think St. Charles County, we come together to talk about who hosts the Accommodations for Success job fair. And that job fair is primarily targeted to individuals with disabilities. And so this year, Slate is up at bat, and we are ready to take that on. And so that is something that we're really, really proud of when we talk about diversifying our services and meeting everybody where they are. And so that is some of the areas that we identified in our equal opportunity monitoring. Our subrecipient risk assessment report. As you all know, EDSI is our subrecipient, and so we have to do a risk assessment report on them. Before we award every grant that we award, we make sure that we do a risk assessment. And so here are some of the things here that the organization excels in, and some that we would like to see some improvements in. Some of the good things that really stood out is financial stability. EDSI is an organization, when we make payments, we do those on a reimbursement basis. So what that means is that EDSI foots a lot of the bills up front, and then the city comes behind them and pays them. And for them to be able to sustain through that is truly remarkable a lot of times, because sometimes the city is, I don't want to say slow, but a little delayed in processing a lot of payments. And so EDSI is able to withstand that because of their financial stability. Quality of management systems and standards, the history of performance, those are some of the things they excel in, but those are also some of the things too, on the flip side, that could use some improvement. And so when you all get a chance, if you have not looked at that risk assessment, please, please, please do take a look at that as well. Next is the CLEO governance agreement and bylaws. This was not a new agreement this year. However, we have to have it on our agenda that we have looked at it and reviewed it each year. And this is basically the agreement between Mayor Jones and the St. Louis Workforce Development Board. You all voted on it last year. And so basically it just speaks to our roles and responsibilities as the St. Louis Workforce Development Board and her role and responsibility as the CLEO, the chief elected official. So that is here as well. Also, our St. Louis Workforce Development bylaws are also here as well. You all should be very familiar with the bylaws. You've seen them. They are on our portal. And so basically just knowing them and knowing that we have reviewed them and that they are present as well was an attachment. Also, to our one-stop operator agreement, that is usually inside of the contract that we have between us and our subrecipient EDSI. And basically, this just says that we as the board know what that agreement is, and it's attached. You all have seen this agreement several times previously. Nothing has changed in this agreement, but just bringing it back forth for you all again to know what the scope of services are in regards to the one-stop operator. So that is everything that is on the consent agenda that does not require a vote per se, or an action per se. You all can choose to vote for all of those items as one under the consent agenda if you choose to do so. However, we do have some new business items on the agenda that require an individual vote. So one of those being the annual agreement. We have received the annual agreement finally. When we got it, it went to a wrong email address, but we have finally found it and recovered it. And in order for, at this point, Mayor Jones has signed it and I have signed it. And in order for Danita to sign it, you all would have to approve it today. And the annual agreement just is the formal contract between the Office of Workforce Development, which is the state, and the St. Louis Workforce Development Board. These are the terms and conditions in which Slate must comply in order for us to continue to receive WIOA funding. So that is here and will require a vote from you today. A sustainability plan. You all, we did a sustainability plan last year. Each year we must revisit it, although it's due every 3 years. Each year we must revisit it and change some things to talk about in the event of an emergency or funding being lost or anything. How will we sustain as an organization? And so we've sat down, we've looked at some of those things in case unforeseen challenges happen, figuring out ways to generate funds and be able to move forward. And so that is on the agenda for you today. Some of the changes inside of there was just some of the staffing has changed since we did the sustainability plan last year on both the city side and the subrecipient side. It also speaks to the numbers that we've been awarded thus far. And so those are some of the things that are in the sustainability plan. The subrecipient recruitment / outreach plan. This is something that the WISP committee came forth and said, I need to see a recruitment and outreach plan from EDSI. So they have provided that for you all. And so this will be the opportunity for you all, if you haven't already looked through that plan, does that work for you? When we talk about recruitment and outreach for our youth services programs that we do provide here. So they provided some of the things that they have done, some of the things that they hope to do. So that is on your agenda as well. Number 4 is the budget memo. So I have worked with our fiscal team as of right now. We have received our WIOA allocations. So that's our WIOA adult, youth, and dislocated worker. Those funds are there. And I've broken them out into categories as well for the ARPA funding that we've received thus far, for our EcoDevo account funding that we received from the Economic Development Sales Tax. All of that is there for you all to approve the funding that we've received thus far. There are a few grants and opportunities that we have gotten a verbal commitment about, but I have not received in writing, so I did not put those in until I receive in writing what those allocations will be. There are some other ones that we have heard some positive about, and we're waiting on them to come down the pipeline. And so what we have received written commitments for, I have included in our budget memo. So that is presented for you today. And then finally, the motion that you all did, that we did last board meeting was not clear. We knew what we discussed in the closed session, but I don't think that that was recorded in the open session. And it was in regards to the youth subrecipient award. And so this will allow the opportunity for you all, what was discussed in closed session, to be made a motion so Svetlana can record the motion in the minutes that you all voted to award EDSI the youth services contract upon the stipulations that they presented you all with a recruitment and outreach plan. And so this will allow for her to be able to record that in the minutes, because it was not very clear when we ran the recording back. Other than that, that is everything that is on your agenda today. Do you have any questions? Seeing none, I yield back to our board chair.
Awesome. That was wonderful. Thank you so much. So we're just gonna go forward with the acceptance of the consent agenda. Since no one has any question, I would like to have a motion to accept the consent agenda number 1 through 9 as is. Can I get a motion?
Hi, this is Corey Elliott. I'll make a motion. An excellent job on getting the additional funding.
Thank you.
Mike
Absolutely.
Newton, second.
Mike Newt second. All in favor of accepting the consent agenda as is, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Seeing that there are none opposed, we will accept the consent agendas numbers 1 through 9 as is. Thank you. Now down to the new business. Ms. Freddie, since you went through the numbers on this agenda, I need to do that individually, right?
They can choose to vote for all items on the new business agenda if they want to. They can do them individually. It is at the
Okay.
discretion of the board.
Absolutely. So with that being said, guys, and you all have no questions in reference to the new business, would you all like to vote collectively on this or individually?
I'd like to make a motion, this is Sal, to approve all items in the new business as presented, as reviewed by our members.
This is Lakeisha, second.
Okay, all in favor of that?
Madam Chair, this is Lydia Padilla. I just have a quick question. I just wanted to, or maybe a comment, if anyone needs to abstain from a vote, if there is a conflict for anyone in any of these 9 items, I believe it's 9. If that's the case, then maybe we should vote individually on each item, and if not, the motion that Sal just made, I'm sure is fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. So you're speaking in reference to the consent agenda, that was 1 through 9, or are you speaking into the new business?
I think it was the new business that Sal just made the motion on.
Yes. I'd
Yeah,
like-
so if there's any
Lydia,
conflict on any of those items, I don't have any, but I'm just wondering if anyone who's voting right now might have to abstain because of a conflict.
Oh, okay.
We do have a lot of partners on the board, so I just wanted to make sure we recognize that.
I do have to abstain from the vote.
Can I ask Jerry which item it is that you're abstaining from?
It is the first one because it involves federal funds. You
Are
know,
there any other, are there any other abstentions? If there are no others, Madam Chair, I'd like to amend my my motion to approve items 2 through how many?
5.
2 to 5. And reserve item number 1 for a vote. Individual vote.
Can we see items 3 through 5? We can only see 1 and 2 on the screen.
It's the subrecipient recruitment budget memorandum and youth services.
Okay, well, let's vote for the approval of authorization.
We need a second.
This is Kathy Johnson. Second that.
Can we just repeat what are we doing? Because we did
We are
we did
voting
the
to
motion.
approve
Mhm,
items 2 through 5
mhm.
and then come back and vote on number 1.
Okay. So Sal was number 1.
Yes, and Cassie Jocelyn was 2, I believe, or Justin, was it you?
Lakeisha,
okay.
Lakeisha was Lakeisha was the second, but I guess we're not doing the.
I was the original second when
The
we
original
amended it
second,
and
yeah.
changed it, yeah.
So was it Kathy at that point who seconded
Yes.
2 through
Yes.
2 through 5? Okay.
Yes.
So Ms. Danito will take a vote at this
Okay.
point.
Okay, so all in favor of what Sal just said, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing that there are none, we'll accept this 2 through 5 as is, and
And sorry, this is Lydia again. That did not have to be a roll call vote.
Nope, not that one. Now, the
Okay,
one, the
thanks-
first one will
thanks,
need to
Freddie.
be. Yep, the first
Okay.
one will need to be. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
okay, so just bring me up to speed. So now that what we just did, what Sal just said, did not need to be a roll call vote. So now
Correct.
we're gonna vote on number 1.
Yes.
Okay,
I move to, I move.
Okay, go ahead, Sal.
Chair, I move to approve item 1, the approval and authorization to enter into agreement with the state.
Mike Newton, second.
All right, this one has to be a roll call, Svetlana.
Okay. Svetlana or Sal?
Sal, yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all. Okay, Catherine Jocelyn,
Approved,
yes.
or I, sorry.
Aye. Lydia Padilla,
Aye. Aye.
Corey Elliott,
Aye.
Lakeisha Mathis,
Aye.
Jerry Bowles,
Abstain.
William Bell,
Aye.
myself, yes, aye. Tamara Cross,
Aye.
Crystal Heron,
aye.
Justin Bennett,
Aye.
Michael Newton,
Aye.
Danita Neal,
Aye.
Roger Spearman,
Aye.
Justin Raimundo,
Aye.
and Susan Agan.
Aye.
Madam Chair, we have 13 voting yes with 1 abstention, and I believe the motion is approved.
Thank you. So at this point is next on the agenda.
Madam Chair, I have to leave. Thank you. I've got a meeting that I have to get on in 4 minutes, so happy 4th of July, everyone.
Same to you, Sal. Thank you. Are there any matters from the board? Matters from the executive director?
Only thing I have, you all received an email regarding our youth build graduation that took place this past Friday. It was amazing. We graduated 12 young people, walked across the stage with their high school equivalencies and an industry recognized credential in construction. That is the NCCER certification. Channel 2 and 11 were there to interview us and interview the students. It was a grand time. Also, too, like I spoke to at the beginning of this call, we were awarded $1.5 million for the next cycle of our youth build grant. So we are so very excited about that. We had a very eventful and hot weekend. We participated in Black Wall Street 314, and we have participated in Pride STL or Pride Fest right outside the windows of our agency the entire weekend, and we had a blast. So I just wanted to be able to share those 2 things with you.
Awesome, thank you. Congratulations again on all the accomplishments. So are there any matters from the public?
No, no, ma'am.
Great, thank you. So can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting for today?
So moved.
I think it was Corey first, Svetlana.
Okay.
Who was the second?
Canberra.
Bill seconds.
It's Cross.
I think Tambra jumped in.
Tambra.
second.
Thank you, Miss, you guys. So all in favor with adjourning the meeting, say aye. Any opposed? None. Seeing that there are none, you guys have a great day. The next meeting will be July 25th, 2023 at 8:30. Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.